What's up, guys? It is Monday, April 14th, 2025. We're at the Bitcoin block height of 892,415. TikTok next block. I want to talk to you guys about a few things that all ties in what's going on in the U.S., in the United States economy, what the government's doing, the stock market, Wall Street, Main Street, the tariffs, and how does this affect you and your family, especially your Bitcoin. So let's talk about it, and let's break it down and try to figure out how this little spider web is all coming together. Well, first of all, what Trump is dealing with these tariffs, and at the same time trying to launch a strategic Bitcoin reserve is very difficult, right? Because again, I think Trump with Bitcoin is concerned. I think what he's doing is he's trying to slowly but surely put it in a reserve, have it on the balance sheet, and then pay off the debt long term. Because again, with the broken system that we're in, with the Doge trying to fix it and everything else, trying to bring the deficit down and the spending down $1 trillion, that's not going to do it. Because again, when you look at the quote unquote deficit between what we spend and what we earn, they say it's about 2 trillion, right? But the problem is that's just a projection. They don't actually know what we're going to spend and what we're going to earn, but it's projected at about 2 trillion. Well, I actually think if you map it out, is a lot higher than that. The gap between what we spend and what we earn, it just is, right? And what Trump's doing is he's crashing the economy on purpose. Now, what economy am I talking about? Am I talking about Main Street or Wall Street? Wall Street, obviously, right? It's funny because you see the Democrat Party, who will never, unfortunately, get into Bitcoin because of Donald Trump, and they have TDS. And this is why we need to wake these people up. But it's funny to see that everything Trump is doing is helping the billionaires. The problem with that thinking is the billionaires own 88% of the stock market, right? So if he's crashing the stock market, how is that helping the billionaires? So that's just FUD, and that's just a lie. That's propaganda that they're trying to sell through a narrative and a lie. Okay? It just is. Objectively speaking, okay? Now, what is Trump doing? Trump is trying to separate us from China as far as how much we depend on them, because we both have a unhealthy dependence on each other, right? We depend on them for too many goods. They depend on us to sell goods to us. So I think we're in the driver's seat, because if you haven't seen, China's factories have been shutting down, a lot of them, because the orders that they had to sell to America are not only not going through, but a lot of American customers are asking for their deposits back, right? Now, why do I think Trump is trying to crash the market? And if you've been paying attention, it's clear as day, it's obvious. What he's trying to do, he's trying to get people money out of the stock market and into bonds. But over the last few days, and I think you guys noticed this, that the bond market, the U.S. Treasuries, someone's been selling off a lot. Now, the narrative, and this is propaganda, they're saying that Japan is selling U.S. Treasuries. That's a lie, and I'm going to tell you why it's a lie. It's a lie because Japan, number one, was the first country out of all those countries that got tariffed, was to call the United States and make a deal with them. So if that's the case, why would they sell U.S. Treasuries? That doesn't even make any sense. Let me tell you who I think is selling U.S. Treasuries. Okay? It's Wall Street, right? Wall Street loves China. Why? Because they make a lot of money with them, and they have a lot of investments in China, and they don't want to break the wheel in this broken system, or this system. It is a broken system, but the system that we're in now, this cheating system of Wall Street always getting over on Main Street. Again, we're Main Street, guys. We're just regular people. And what Trump is doing right now, he's doing the hard work, right? He launched an executive order to stop the selling of Bitcoin. That's what the strategic Bitcoin reserve is. Stop selling it. We're not going to do that. And then he's passing it over to Cynthia Lummis and the senator from Alaska, to bring up that Bitcoin Act bill so we can make a plan to buy it. But the other hard part he's doing is he's saying, you know what? We got to stop this wheel from keep going. This broken Wall Street's always first and Main Street's always last. And a lot of rich people are suffering right now and they don't like it. So all these Democrats, rhinos, swamp creatures, the mainstream liberal media and Wall Street are all for China. Okay. Now I got to watch what I say here, but let's just say, China, this is why I stopped watching the NBA, because the NBA is bought and paid for by that country. Okay. And when you capitulate to that and you hear these Democrats talking about Trump trying to fix the system, meaning put in America first, yeah, we're going to suffer a little bit. You have to. It's almost like if you're, because America's like economically speaking, even though we got the most powerful dollar in the world and we got the biggest economy and stuff, we're still broke, man, because again, you see the debt. We're almost like a sick patient that needs to have surgery. Now, when you have surgery and you need to work on it, you can't just keep giving it medicine. You have to fix the problem. And when you have surgery, it's going to hurt and you're going to be down for a while. And that's what Trump's doing. Trump is not kicking the can down the road. So when you hear the mainstream media lying, saying, oh, the dollar is crashing, the reason the dollar is crashing because a lot of people, Wall Street, a lot of these liberal people, because again, most people that vote Democrat, not most, but most of the billionaires and millionaires and decamillionaires and people have $100 million net worth, most of these people are liberal. These are the billionaire class. Because again, when you see Bernie Sanders and AOC talking about the oligarchy, that's just flat out lie. The Democrat Party is an oligarchy, okay? That's what it is. So when you see them selling off the dollar and basically being, this is kind of treason what they're doing against America, to tank the dollar so that Trump can say, okay, the dollar's breaking, the stock market's breaking, the mainstream media narrative is working on me. I got to stop doing this and I got to stop the bleeding and do it. Trump's like, nah, I don't care how hard you go against me. We're going to keep doing this. Despite the lies and the narratives, we're going to keep these tariffs up because we know long term that China is not our enemy, but they are our adversary that could turn out to be an enemy because we're too dependent on too many cheap goods, which you know what kind of labor is making that stuff. And we're too dependent on them. If something would happen, if the country shut down, if we had some kind of conflict going on, we just depend too much on China. We can't keep doing that. We need to build stuff here, especially the chips and the everything else. We also need to get Chinese landowners and the land sold and out of here because a lot of them are near military bases. But we also need to get ahead of them when it comes to Bitcoin. They're right behind us in Bitcoin. They have 190,000 Bitcoin. China does. So what's going to happen? What's the Fed going to do? The Fed is getting ready to print a lot of dollars because they're saying the dollar is is weak and they got to bail out a lot of things. And who gets bailed out when they print money? Just think about it. Is it the Main Street people like us? Of course not. You know who gets all that money? It's Wall Street. It's the quote unquote investors, which they're not investors. Okay. People like them, they're short-term thinkers. They just think about the week, the month, and the farthest out of a quarter. They got to figure out how much quote-unquote money they can make every quarter. And it's all fake and a lie. It's a fake money. Just because the stock market or your portfolio is going up, it's not going up in nominal prices or nominally because, again, your purchasing power of those dollars goes up or goes down while the market's going up. So it's all fake and a lie. And they're getting ready to liquidate the entire economy in the United States. They're saying about $2 trillion. Now, if that happens, and also with the dollar losing purchasing power, what happens to Bitcoin? Bitcoin's price is going to go up. So let's talk about the first one. If the dollar price is going down, or the value or the purchasing power or the dollar index is going down, which it is. And again, the reason it's going because they're selling treasuries. The Wall Street is not Japan. Our enemy is from within. And I think China may be selling some too. I don't know. But when the dollar goes down, what happens to Bitcoin? The Bitcoin price goes up because we're the antithesis of the US dollar. But also when we put liquidity into the economy, into the US economy, what happens to Bitcoin? It's going to go up because again, it's more dollars coming in, lowering the price of the purchasing power of your dollar, and Bitcoin goes up. So just pay attention to that, guys. We know what's coming. We know there's a bunch of printing coming out. The Fed's going to do this. Trump is he was trying to get people into the bonds so that the bond yield will go down. But now the bond yield is way up because, again, people are getting out of that and coming in and again, selling the bonds, because when you sell the bonds, the yield goes up. And when the yield goes up, it's not good for the economy or the US dollar. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And it just pisses me off even thinking about it, man. What our enemies from within are doing, what Wall Street, the Democrats, the rhinos, and the mainstream liberal media is doing. But hey, we got a solution for that. The solution is, first of all, make sure you join me on my live stream and let me know what you think in the comment section below, by the way. And thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. I got a live stream today at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time. And we're going to do episode number 6 of the Hidden Secrets of Money. And I'm going to give out some free Satoshis using the Wheel of Satoshi. And every time we spin, somebody's going to win. The greatest money in the world. The only money that's going to fix this crazy system. But again, people are going to get affected by it. But the more of this money that I'm getting ready to say you have, the less you'll be affected by it. And keep your head on the swivel and make sure you guys stay away from the word investing. Because if you have the real money, you don't have to invest. Because this money is not broken like the other one. That's the only reason people invest. So there's only one way to do that. It's only one money. And if I had to take a guess, and if you've been here long enough, I'm pretty sure you guys already know what that is. It's the best way to save. And for me, the only way to save. And that's Bitcoin. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.